You're listening to Manx Radio, and I'm Judith Lay, welcoming you to the podcast of the Manx Sky at Night with Howard Parkin.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
And that is the familiar music that tells us it's time to once again welcome Howard Parkin into the studio for this month's edition of the Manx Sky at Night. Faster my Howard.
Faster my Judith, it's great to be here again.
Well, you've come in with an armful of papers and all kinds of things. I think we've got an exciting half an hour ahead, haven't we?
I do think so.
Right, what are we going to talk about first, Howard?
Well, first of all, we're going to talk about the fact that the nights are starting to get longer. We've noticed that it's going dark earlier and the sky has been... We had some beautiful weather in the last few weeks. And we have noticed the stars around midnight now, 11 o'clock midnight, you can start to see the stars. And there's quite a few very bright stars we can see in the sky. The summer triangle I've talked of before. Venus is low in the west. But of course, in August, I'm jumping ahead a bit because we've got so much to talk about. In August, we have got the best meteor shower of the year. The best meteor shower of the year will take place on roughly the 12th of August. And this year, we have a total... no, we don't. We have a new moon. We have a new moon at the time when this meteor shower should take place, so that will be very good. So we've got the very good chance of seeing quite a lot of meteors in the night sky in and around the 11th, 12th, 13th of August. And the meteor shower is always the best. It's always that one and the one in December. The Geminis are probably the best two meteor showers we ever get to see. And it really should be good. We have what we call high-speed pellets of dust from Comet Swift-Tuttle burning up high above our heads. And to find the meteors, all you need to do is look towards the western horizon. No, don't look towards the western. Look towards the eastern horizon. The constellation Perseus, which is one of the late autumn, early winter constellations, will be coming up in the sky in the eastern horizon and will be very easy to spot. It's best described like a letter K, a big letter K, next to what we call the square of Andromeda, the square of Pegasus, which is what other people call it as well in that area of the sky. But as I say, the meteors always stream out from one particular point within the constellation of Perseus, but it might not be inside Perseus itself. There might be way across the sky in the summer triangle and maybe across the sky in the plough, places like that. So you just need to keep your eyes peeled to have a look at the sky around... we always say around midnight is the best time, and I know I talk about meteor showers quite often on these shows because there's so many meteor showers that take place throughout the year. But the beauty of the Perseids is you can rely on them. I can guarantee, and I've never failed on this yet, if the sky is clear, if we've got cloudless skies and no moon, which we have this year, you've got a very good chance of seeing at least half a dozen meteors in probably about half an hour. The hourly rate of these meteors is meant to be about 120 an hour, so that's 2 a minute. I've not seen it that good, but in 2015 we had a very good display, similar situation to we have this year with a new moon at around the same time, so we did see a lot of meteors. So well worth looking out for, and probably the highlight of the year, well, the second best thing we can see in the year from the Isle of Man this year is the Perseid meteor shower on August the 12th. Obviously, there's other meteor showers as well we can see throughout the year, but the Geminid meteor shower, which occurs in December, is going to be equally as good. We have just got this strange situation that when we have a new moon around the time of the Geminids, we get the same new moon around the time of, not the same one, but another new moon around the time of the Perseids as well. So well worth looking out for, and I look forward to people telling me if they get to see any of them.
Well, yes, but it's all weather, isn't it,
yeah,
Howard?
exactly.
You know, I was thinking when I was driving in tonight, and there's a lot of low cloud and a real mist on the mountain, you know, and we just need the right conditions, don't we?
Of course we do. That's all we need. And we have had, as I say, some beautiful weather just recently. I just hope it hasn't spoiled us for the events of August, that's what I say.
Well, there's an old saying, isn't there? Much wants more. And,
exactly.
Isn't there? But
there is indeed. But,
anyway,
we live in hope.
The thing is that the importance of this programme is that you tell us what to look for, so if we get the right conditions, we know exactly what we should be looking out for. Exactly. and when and where. Right, now, what would you like to talk about next?
Well, I think we need to talk about the upcoming eclipse. We
Go on
have a
then.
total eclipse of the sun visible from Spain and Iceland, but from the Isle of Man, this will be the best eclipse. 93% of the moon, 93% of the sun will be covered by the moon. We will have a very thin crescent sun, visible in the sky about an hour before sunset on the evening of the 12th of August, the same day, incidentally, as the meteor shower, but that's just pure coincidence. But this eclipse is quite spectacular. I was looking up, actually, the last time we had an eclipse as good as this was in 1999 when we had a 95% eclipse, which was total in Cornwall. This one is 93%. The next one as good as this will actually be a total eclipse visible from the Isle of Man in 2151. So not much chance of seeing that. Not for me, anyway.
There will be people on this island who will be around for that.
Quite
but
125 they'd have to be, though. So it's pushing it a bit.
well, I don't know. We've got
With science and health
age is
these
going
days,
up. The
it
age
is
is going
indeed.
up. Anyway, the point of it is, it just shows how very special these things
It
are.
is very special.
Now, the thing that interests me about this, Howard, is 93%. Now, you've talked to us about total eclipse, which you have experienced. Will we get anything like the strange, you described how it feels. Will we get any sense of that at all? That it affects how the atmosphere is?
It will go dark. It will not go totally dark, of course, because you're still going to have 7% of the sun's disk visible. So it'll certainly the light. My vivid recollection of watching a couple of total eclipses I've seen recently or over the last few years is the light goes strange. It's a weird light. It's a yellowy, bluey. It's really strange, and you'll get that. You'll get that in the Isle of Man. This eclipse is actually taking place and finishes about an hour before moonset. So moonset is at 9 o'clock and this eclipse will finish about 8 o'clock. The main part of the eclipse is about 7 o'clock in the evening. So the place to watch it is on the west coast of the Isle of Man, although it's going to be high enough up to see from anywhere. But it really will be quite spectacular. I won't be here, I'm afraid. I'm off to Spain to see the totality, because it's obviously a very good opportunity to go and do that. But I know lots of people have already said to me, and I've been telling people about this eclipse, and there's a lot of excitement about it. So let's hope we can get some decent weather.
So let's just drill down first to the actual facts. So it's on the date is the 12th of August.
12th of August.
And the time is 7 o'clock at night.
No, it starts at 11 minutes past 6. That's when the moon first encroaches the solar disk. It's what we call first contact.
Okay,
You would not see that unless you've got equipment, which I'll talk about later. So it starts at 11 minutes past 6. The
Yes.
maximum eclipse, when the 93% of the solar disk will be covered by the moon, is at 9 minutes past 7. And the fourth contact, when the moon completely moves away from the solar disk, is at 3 minutes past 8. And the moon goes down at 5 to 9. Those are the facts, and you can set your clock by them. They will be, and I tell you now, you're hearing this first on Manx Radio. It'll be all over the media, the news, the newspapers, everywhere else. But you've heard it first here on Manx Radio.
And we heard the exact. I'm sure they won't be giving us all the exact times and all the rest of it.
They'll just say, watch it in the evening.
and so you're saying that this will be visible everywhere on the island?
Yes. Subject to clear skies, of course.
Of course, yeah, always subject to clear skies.
It'll be high enough up in the sky that you'll still see it, even if you're on the other side of Snaefell. If you've seen a Laxey, you'll still get it, as long as you've got a reasonable view of the sun.
Right, okay. Now, the thing that even I know about is that looking at the sun is forbidden.
Absolutely.
So tell us now, take up the story, Howard.
Well, basically, I'm sure as kids you always remember having a magnifying glass and holding a magnifying glass and burning your finger. Well, imagine doing that to your eye. You would burn your eyes. You would go blind. If you turned any form of optical aid onto the sun, you will go blind. You must not do it. Full stop. It's one thing that we astronomers really worry about, solar safety, solar eclipse safety. The only way to view an eclipse safely is to either use a proper solar telescope, and these are very expensive, and I know there's a few on the island, but unless you know someone who's got one, they're not. You can't convert telescopes for them. You can put filters on, but I wouldn't recommend it. One fun way to see the eclipse is to use a pinhole camera, a shoebox. If you basically get a shoebox and put a pinhole in one side of the shoebox, in the long side, the shadow inside the box will let you see a little tiny dot. The longer the shoebox, the better. And when it's eclipsed, you'll get a tiny little crescent moon showing in that. It's great fun to do with the kids, and it avoids the problems of looking at the sun directly. But if you want to look at the sun with the naked eye, which you should never do, the only way to do that, and this eclipse is not total, so you can't take those glasses off, you've got to get a proper pair of eclipse glasses. And any form of eclipse glasses have got to be approved. They've got to have the ISO reference number. They are basically like a pair of glasses you put on, and these silvery light lenses you've got on them, they're very thin, but they're in such a way that you can't see anything through them other than a very, very bright light. I mean, if you stared at a spotlight, you might just catch a glimmer of it, but they filter out the sun's rays very effectively, and that's the only proper way to look at the sun directly with the naked eye.
So the next question is, well, Howard, where am I going to get a pair of glasses that's going to make it safe for me to look at this partial eclipse?
Well, I'm delighted to say that through the arrangements we've made with Manx Radio, we've managed to obtain a supply of eclipse glasses. They're actually eclipse glasses from 2024. There's nothing wrong with them. They're perfectly all right. They have produced too many. And these have been made available, and I've managed to get a supply of them, and Manx Radio very kindly agreed to have these available to listeners. Basically, they haven't arrived yet. They'll be arriving in the next day, a week or two. They've promised delivery before the 12th of August, and what we're going to do is allow people to come up to the studio to get a pair of them. I think the maximum will be 2 per person, but you can get a pair of these glasses, and you wear them, and you must keep them on when you're looking directly at the sun. I mean, we all glance up at the sun and see it's out or it's behind the clouds, but that is not what you should do. It's something we really, really panic about, people getting blinded from the sun. Patrick Moore had a wonderful expression. You get 2 chances to look at the eclipse, left eye and right eye.
Yeah.
So if you want a pair, if the listeners want a pair, and I don't know, I think Manx Radio will be doing a story about this in the next few days. Don't rush up tomorrow, but certainly they will be available from Manx Radio as soon as they come in.
Well, I think what the safest thing to say would be to keep listening,
Yes.
and we will announce on our general programming through the day when they're here and they're available, and they're completely free of charge.
Yes.
A maximum of 2 pairs per person, just to make sure that these go around, because there's a couple of 100 pairs which won't go very far.
Won't go far.
With a lot of interest in this.
First come, first served.
So you'll be able to pop up to reception and claim your 2 pairs, but don't come up, please. I think to save you a wasted journey.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't come up until you hear it announced on the station in the general programming that the solar glasses are here, the eclipse glasses are here, and you can come up and you can claim your 2 free pairs on a first come, first served basis.
Got to be first come, first served.
Now, these have to be handled with a bit of care, don't they?
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that, Judith, because you do have to be very careful, because these very thin, it's like silver paper, for want of a better expression. There's proper solar filter materials. Beta soda filter, for those who are wondering what they're made of. It's a special filter that's made to filter out the rays of the sun. And they're great, but you must not touch the lenses. If you touch the lenses of them, the acid in your finger can degrade them and make them useless. So if you get a pair, keep them very safe. If you get them for your kids, don't play with them. Don't put them on, have fun with them and all the rest. Keep them safe until literally 6 o'clock at night on the 12th of August.
You can play with them afterwards, can't you?
Oh, do what you want afterwards.
Because nobody's going to keep them till the next solar eclipse.
Well, actually, I've specially arranged another eclipse for you on the 2nd of August next year. We have another partial eclipse of the sun from the Isle of Man. It'll only be 30% this time, but this one will also be visible from the Isle of Man, but as I say, only 30%.
So being serious now, if I use my eclipse glasses this time on the 12th, and then was careful with them, put them in an envelope and put them in the back of a drawer somewhere, would they be good for next year?
Absolutely. I've got eclipse glasses from 2006 I still use. I've obviously collected them over the years, and this is why I was able to get the supply this time. As long as the lenses, what you must do, seriously, regardless of how old they are, is look at the lenses. Look at both sides of the lenses, the eye side and the outside. Have a look at them very closely and see if there's any marks, any blemishes, any fingerprints or anything else. And if there is, throw them away. Don't do anything with them. And of course, if it's cloudy, which we hope and pray it isn't, but if it's cloudy on the 12th of August, then keep them for next year anyway.
Yeah. So perhaps a good thing to do would be, if you're going to come up and claim your couple of free pairs, bring an envelope.
Yes,
just an ordinary,
definitely. Or a plastic bag.
I'm looking, either would do. Plastic bag or an envelope, and then when you're giving them here at reception, you pop them straight in the bag or an envelope, and then you're fine.
Keep them
safe. Yeah. then they're fully protected until
They're
you need
basically a long piece of card, and you fold them to make the earpieces, of course, you fold them. So they're just like a pair of glasses, like I'm wearing and you're wearing now. They're just the same as them, but they're very thin, they're made of paper, and they're flimsy, and they've got Great Solar Eclipse 2024 on them. But who cares what they were printed for? That we're just lucky we got hold of these quite easily.
Well, yeah, because it has to be said that, because I've had a look at these, and the cheapest you can get them is around about £2.50, £3 per pair, the proper ISO standard. So this has been a wonderful way to get them cheaply enough that we can give them away.
They are from a company who specialises in them, and as you say, for the public, I think is it 3 pairs for £10, something like that. But these are a lot cheaper than that, which is why we've managed to get hold of 200 pairs. Which, as I say, straight away when I realised these were available, I got in touch with Manx Radio, and they said,
"You're not just a pretty face, are you, Howard?" Right. Well, we could talk indefinitely about this, but the important thing is we've got the safety and the practical side of it.
Yeah. But if you want to have fun with your kids, make a pinhole camera. Get a shoebox, put a pinhole in one end, and look at the other end, and you'll see a little tiny image of the sun projected, especially when it's eclipsed.
We used to do that kind of thing. It's one of those sort of do-it-at-home experiments.
Absolutely.
That
Blue Peter job.
That's right. Yes, sticky back plastic and
Incidentally, talking of that, don't use welding glasses. A lot of people say, "Oh, I've got a pair of welding glasses." They'll do. No, they won't, because welding glasses are not got anything like the filters in them. You can still see through welding glasses. The welds you're doing, they're not as strong. And the other old idea was use old photographic negatives, which people don't have anymore now. But if you had some old film, no. Eclipse glasses, a solar telescope, if you know someone who's got one, or get a pair of eclipse glasses. Some of you may, of course, because we had an eclipse in 2024, we had another one in 2017. There's been a period of a number of eclipses over the last 10 years or so. You may well have at the back of your drawer a pair of these glasses, but do check them carefully.
Yeah. If there's any mark on them, they are not suitable to use.
You'll blind yourself, and I would hate that to happen to anybody. That's one of the things we want people to enjoy these eclipses, because they are special. They really are quite special to see, and the history of them and all that sort of stuff is fascinating. But it's the great worry of medical someone having a problem. That's why the glasses we've got have all got the ISO number on them. And if they haven't got that ISO number, if they've just got plain cardboard, forget them. They've got to have the ISO number on them.
And it has to be said, Howard, that you do, you are intent upon, people's safety.
Absolutely, priority.
This is not the first time that you've talked about this.
And it won't be the last either.
Indeed, but I think it's a brilliant cue for music, don't you?
Oh, I do. And we've got just the track, I think.
There's only one song we can play.
There certainly is.
Every now and then I get a little bit lonely and you're never coming around. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous that the best of all the years have gone by. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, and then I see the look in your eyes. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart, and I need you now tonight, and I need you more than ever. And if you only hold me tight, we'll be holding on forever, and we'll only be making it right, 'cause we'll never be wrong. Together we can take it to the end of the line. The love is like a shadow on me all of the time. I don't know what to do, and I'm always in the dark. We're living in a powder keg and giving off balls. I really need you tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight. Upon a time I was falling in love, but now I'm only falling apart. There's nothing I can do, a total eclipse of the heart. Once upon a time there was light in my life, but now there's only love in the dark. Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart.
I really, really hate to fade down Bonnie Tyler and total eclipse of the heart, but we've just got so much to talk about. So let's go back to Howard Parkin and this month's edition of the Manx Sky at Night. Now, we've talked extensively about this partial eclipse, unlike Bonnie Tyler's total eclipse. But if people would like to meet you and listen to you, all they need to do is to pop up to Kirkmackle tomorrow evening, because you're giving a talk, aren't you, Howard?
I am. I'm giving a talk a few years ago now. I think it was about a year ago. Ian Foles got in touch with me and said, I've seen you talk about the Star of Bethlehem. Have you ever considered what guided Mackle to the island? Because he allegedly came to the island in a coracle cast into the sea by St. Patrick in Ireland, and he travelled to the island in a coracle guided by a star.
Well, now, we don't actually know whether he was guided by a star.
No,
I've talked to Reverend Ian about this, and this, let's just put it in its context. St. Mackle Week started on Saturday, and Ian has put together an absolutely brilliant programme of this everything from afternoon teas to organ recitals to this talk that we're discussing now. There's something every single day, almost morning, noon and night. Now, what Ian said to me was there are various depictions of St. Mackle, and over his shoulder, where the sky background would be, there is a star. And this appears in several that go back to medieval times. And so Ian says it leads you to, why would they, of all the images they could put, why would they put a star? And so he thinks, is there some astronomical connection? And of course, the man to tell us is our Howard. So, because you say that the skies are so predictable that you can work out what was going on.
Yeah.
So have you got a theory?
I have.
Don't give it away.
No, I'm not going to give it away, but it wasn't a total eclipse. I will tell you that. There was no total eclipses around the time, but there were a number of, there's 4 actually, astronomical phenomena which would have been dramatic and quite spectacular at around 498, 497 AD. And that fits the time frame. It's very similar to the Star of Bethlehem story, which I've done, of course, loads of times. And I researched into it, the different things that it could have been. And I will come to a conclusion tomorrow night. And if people are there, they'll learn all about it. I also do quite a bit about what the images of Mackle throughout the island. I mean, even St. Peter's Church, my own church, there's a lovely depiction of Mackle there with the star, as you say, over his right shoulder, and he's looking up at it. And there's one in most of the churches in the island seem to have this depiction of Mackle in his boat sailing across the Irish Sea, and there's a star guiding him allegedly, but whether it's allegorical or metaphorical or whatever you call it.
Well, he came here, washed ashore. That much we know. But it could well have been. I mean, if he was in Mackle, where the skies are glorious,
exactly.
Whenever we've got a bit of clearness in the skies, they're beautiful. Maybe there was just something that.
Yeah.
Who knows? But you're going to give us the theories, and it's tomorrow night. It starts at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock in Mackle Church tomorrow?
In Mackle Church, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, and it's a bargain price of £5.
I didn't know they were charging for tickets.
I think it's.
I think you get a couple of tuna biscuit with that.
Oh, you will do.
I'm
it's
sure
a suggested donation of £5.
Right. It's one of these lectures I've done, which I know will be a one-off. I won't probably ever do it again, but I've really enjoyed putting it together. It's about half an hour longer. It's not as long as my normal lectures. But we've also got the story, just to really entice people, the story of St. Pinan and St. Aya, and also Brendan the Navigator.
Brendan the Navigator, I know quite a bit about Brendan the Navigator, but the others, nope.
Well, they all have a similar thing going through them, which I will reveal tomorrow night.
Right, he's saying no more. He's just grinning at me. We're definitely not going to get. We're definitely not going to
nothing
get.
else.
But of course, Howard would be delighted to see you. And of course, over that cup of tea and a biscuit, there'll be an opportunity to have a chat with him. So that's Kirkmackle, the church, tomorrow night, Monday night at 7 o'clock. Right. So from something close to home to things far away, what's the biggest space story,
Well,
Howard?
the biggest space story was the one we had last month as well, about the SpaceX launch. They had a SpaceX launch last Thursday. The Starship 13 was launched. And by all accounts, it was nearly a full success. The Starship rocket, which is on the top of this big, massive rocket, launched into space, didn't go into orbit, went into what we call a suborbital flight, came back down in the Indian Ocean. And what they were testing is the ability of this spacecraft to hover so it can land. And they practically had it hovering over the Indian Ocean. And then the engines turned off and it fell into the sea. It was destroyed. But that was very, very good. It was exactly as planned. They had the 33 Raptor engines on the bottom of the rocket all ignited, which was the problem they had last time. They did have a slight problem with the booster. Now, the booster, the first stage booster, the one that they caught famously a few years ago, they didn't want to catch it this time. They wanted to make sure they could land it in the Gulf of Mexico. It came down a bit fast. It was meant to have 11 engines firing. It only had 7 engines firing, and it came down a bit hard. It was always going to be destroyed, but technically speaking, it wasn't 100% successful, but the Starship rocket itself was. Why is this so important? Because this is the spaceship that's going to take the NASA astronauts to the moon in the Artemis program. The Artemis rocket, the Artemis spacecraft, the Orion spacecraft, which carries the astronauts, will dock with a Starship, and the Starship will land on the moon. That's the plan for 2028, 2029. Now, they're behind schedule. They've had all sorts of problems. I think last month you spoke about the fact that they had problems with Starship 12, which really had a lot of problems. But this one now is almost perfect, and they're pretty sure they can go for the next one now. And so hopefully that will launch. Because in next year, towards the end of next year, I think it's going to be August to October time next year, they're launching Artemis 3, and Artemis 3 will carry a crew of 4 again, and they're going to dock in space with the Starship. They're also going to dock with the Blue Origin's lunar lander called Blue Moon, and they're going to test both of those and then select which one they're going to take to the moon in 2028 to land on the moon for the first time since 1972.
You know, Howard, I was just thinking, listening to you there, the story, every time, almost every week, there's some space story. The progress is so rapid. Now, not so long ago on this programme, we would be talking about the International Space Station, and we would be marvelling about what was happening there. It's kind of, I'm going to make a terrible joke here now and say, it's sort of been eclipsed by all the, we don't mention it.
It's like when they went to the moon. When they landed on the moon in 1969, that was it. Fantastic. It was all over the media. It was the biggest world event ever. If we all remember it, it's one of those things we all remember. But the time they got through to Apollo 17, and nobody was interested. They lost interest. The public are very fickle. They lose interest in all these things unless something dramatic and new is happening. Dare I say, a rocket blowing up on the launch pad, that sort of stuff, makes more news than a successful launch of this huge rocket, which...
But I don't think necessarily that we don't care. I think it's just there's so much of it.
Oh, there is so much.
It's overtaken. One amazing fact is overtaken by something else 10 days later.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle now. It's quite funny because when I do my lectures on the cruise ships, every time I go on a cruise, I have to do a number of lectures. It varies from however long the cruise is. And you know, the amount of research I have to do to update the lectures is incredible. There's always a story about Mars or black holes or the Hubble Space Telescope or the James Webb or astronauts or the sun or whatever. I mean, I do get news bulletins. I get these notifications you can get on your phone, and I get one pretty well every day. There's something that I could almost talk about to you now. There's always something going on, and it's great. And it just shows space is a huge industry. If there's any youngsters out there listening, if you want a career that you know is going to be booming in the next 20, 50 years or so and beyond, the space industry is the thing to work in because it's becoming one of the biggest industries in the world. It's just quietly going about its business, and there's so many exciting innovations. I mean, SpaceX, we all know about Elon Musk, and he put his company on the stock market, and you keep getting reports about that. But that's the size and the scale of the industry, and long may it continue.
And I think just in the last seconds that we've got, Howard, because unfortunately, as ever, we're beaten by the clock, that anybody who got into that, even if they didn't stay in it for the whole of their career, what you would learn that you could take into other engineering, science,
technology and everything, STEM subjects as we call them. All those subjects are all there in space, and as you say, you get a degree in it, and you can go to, and it's transferable skills as well. I mean, the whole point is it works in business, in industry, in finance, in retail, and so on. Great industry to get involved in if you get the chance.
Howard, I'm sorry we've been beaten by the clock, but thank you very much for joining us. And the Eclipse glasses, listen out here on Manx Radio. We will tell you when they are available for collection. Howard, first of May.
Thank you.
Station, Manx Radio.